All right, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If we could get a roll call, please.
Chairman York.
Here.
Vice Chairman Salazar Garza.
Here.
Commissioner Miller. Here. Commissioner Mandel.
Here.
Commissioner Munoz.
Here.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Here.
Commissioner Budd.
Here.
Commissioner Cantu.
Here.
Commissioner Teichelman.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum to present the meeting.
All right, thank you. And I guess if you wouldn't mind, would you please read the rules for public comment?
Citizens will be allowed to attend and make public comments in person at the City Planning Commission meetings. The public is invited to speak on any agenda item and any other items that pertain to the Planning Commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. If you choose to speak during this period, you will not be allowed to speak again when the specific item is being considered in order of the agenda.
Thank you. With that, now we're going to open up public comment. Is there anybody wanting to speak? Seeing none, we will close public comment. Move on to approval of absences.
I move that we approve the absences of Commissioner Mandel and Chairman York from our last meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to approval of minutes for the May 14th meeting.
Commissioner Mandel, I move that we approve the minutes from May 14, 2025.
Second.
All right, motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes passes. Moving on to consent public hearing, agenda items number 2 and 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, Andrew Demas with Development Services, starting with tonight's consent agenda, item number 2, Pumalala Addition, Lot 1, a final of 2.06 acres, and item 3, London Town Unit 12, a final plat of 5.69 acres. Staff recommends approval of both of these plats as they meet the requirements of the UDC and the Texas Local Government Code. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Thank you, Mr. Demas. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff?
I have a question on number 3. There's a couple of like larger kind of odd shaped lots. I'm just curious what those are going to be used for because they're a lot larger than just your, RS 4.5 lots. Is it a park or what's it going to be for?
Unless they're specifically marked as non-buildable, they are eligible to be single-family homes as the property zone RS 4.5.
I know I worked on that years and years ago. They've probably changed it 100 times. I think that last large lot was originally for like townhomes or something. It was part of their PUD. They could have changed it by now, but.
What's the zoning for this property?
It is entirely RS 4.5.
Okay.
They could come back in the future for another rezoning if they so desire.
Is that typical to just leave one lot like that? Not
I would say
decision yet?
it's not illegal.
It's not what?
It's not illegal.
Okay.
So they could further subdivide in the future or rezone it or give it to the school, who knows?
Correct.
And by doing this, are they planning on building the bridge over the ditch to connect to the other lady, Claudia? Do we have a timeline on that?
Well, that would be a separate public improvement that would happen after the approval of the plat.
I'm just curious if we have
But
any
that's the
plans for
very
it.
south end, right? Unit 12? It's not really a ditch there.
There's a ditch that connects Lady Claudia, which is behind the school. There's a ditch basically that has to be crossed because this will connect.
Right, but
They
it's
won't-
like really small there, right? So it's more like, it's just, from what I remember, unless they deepened it, it's gonna be like a little culvert at that end. Like as you get closer to Oso, it got way, like big.
Well, it's going to have to be 4 lanes. So, I mean, it's a, what is it, a 75-foot right-of-way? So it's.
Did they have to put up the half of the bridge money per the UDC or?
That would be a public improvement question, which would be
Okay.
separate from the approval of the plat.
So if they plat there, that will come up, they'll do that during public improvements?
Correct.
Okay.
So you can do a plat without connecting it then? You can just build it to the edge, essentially?
I would say that it would be handled at the public improvement stage.
Okay. Once we get PI plans. Okay. Well, I'm happy that this portion's finally getting done. Honestly, it was disappointing that it took so long in that, the whole section of that street, Excelsior, or whatever it was, and they just left it with just literally one lot to get to this. So I wish that would have been caught by Planning Commission years ago when it was originally platted, but better late than never, I guess. So.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll open up public comment for items 2 and 3. Seeing none, we will close it and entertain further discussion or a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
All right, got a motion and a second to approve items 2 and 3 as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to director's report.
To keep the meeting brief, no report tonight.
All right, well, thank you, Andrew. I do have one question on a future agenda item subject, sort of. The UDC committee where we were meeting to update UDC and all, similar things, is that going to get resurrected anytime soon?
Yes, funny you should mention that. So several bills have been moving through the legislature. The one that we've been watching the most was concerning 1,400 square foot acres. That changed on the floor last night to 3,000 square feet and passed the Senate. So it should be on its way to the governor's desk. So it won't be the doomsday scenario everybody was worried about, these tiny lots, but 3,000 is more in line with what we see shotgun style on the west side of the city. So it's actually.
Yeah, and on the island.
Right. So it's inspired us to look at a potentiality for maybe an RS3 district.
Okay.
To come into line with that. But as part of all of these bills that are now moving through, the ADU regulations, there was another one about setbacks, and there was another one about height restrictions. All of those will have to be vetted by the DS tag because we want to get your input as we have to insert those into UDC before September 1st.
Okay, well, for what it's worth, I would love to still be on that committee as a whatever, since I won't be a member of the Planning Commission once this kicks off, if it's after August. But I did want to ask if you can make a note. I would like to see the issue of connectivity put on there for items like we were just discussing, if there's a subdivision or a plat that has one little
roads.
spot, and then also when you see, like on SPID on Yorktown where there's 57, commercial places in a row and none of them connect, but you go to other cities, San Antonio, and you could literally take, drive through every commercial building and get from one major street to the other if you wanted to, because they're all required to connect. So I know we used to have something like that many years ago and it got taken out, but.
It was called shared access, and I would hope that you hold on to that passion and enthusiasm as we go through the process.
I will.
Please, just keep
It would
pushing.
be nice to see. Some developments, small, do it on their own, which is great, and then, some don't, so.
Please help us pass that. We as a city are huge fans of shared access.
Okay, that's all I had. Anybody else have future agenda items? Okay, with that, we are adjourned. And I think we still beat the 10-minute limit.
Passes with 4.